Happy Monday, everybody. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk.com. We are here with the Road to Millions on August 28th, and we've got a really, really good show for everybody. You're going to want to stick around for this show. We've got some stuff to talk about for NFL, which is almost here. So we're going to go over some things, which is going to get us ready for our bets next week. And of course, it is Bankroll Reset Day. We're going to take a look at how we did last week, and we're going to go into a little bit of a deep dive on our plays and see what worked and what didn't, because they tell us a really interesting story that I think we can learn from. So we're going to help you out with your bets today, and we're going to do a little deep dive and hopefully show everybody what went wrong, what went right, and how we can adjust moving forward. So we're going to do the betting lab, bankroll reset day, and the streak of the day. Just want to remind everybody real quick the rules on the road to millions. Our goal, 3% per week. If we make 3% per week over 5 years, we can turn $1,000 into $1 million just by using the power of compound interest. We do not chase our losses. If we lose, it's okay. We're going to be okay. The sun is going to rise the next day. We move on. No drunk, no sick betting, and we do not pull money out of the bankroll. Steve, we can go to the betting lab here real quick, but I got to tell you, I feel good about this week. We're coming.
Me too.
We gave back some units, and when we do the deep dive, it's not. It was a little bit unlucky, and there's some really good things to learn. But I gotta say, it's a beautiful morning. I'm feeling great. We've got some really good sports to bet on this week. I'm in a really, really good mood actually, so I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. For coming off we didn't have the greatest weekend, but I still feel great about this week, and I'm looking to finish this month really strong.
Yeah. So we were due for regression. We knew it. It kind of hit us a little bit last week. So no big deal. We're looking at this thing big term or long term. So, all right, betting lab. We're going to talk a little bit about Brock Purdy, Tyler Higbee, Ravens. We'll go over UFC Paris and the US Open. Brock Purdy, we're going to start with him, Steve. This was a guy that we made money on last year. We did not catch on to his trend until just a little bit late, but I feel like nobody kind of caught on to Brock Purdy and that he was, pretty good. But we got to start getting ready for our player props that are coming out next week. So let's start with Brock Purdy. Go over Mr. Purdy, how he's looked this preseason, and what do we like about him moving forward?
Well, he's looked really calm in the pocket in the preseason. He's last game he went 5 for 9 with 73 yards, and he ran for a touchdown. And the news with the Trey Lance news didn't bother him whatsoever. He was just great last year down the stretch when he started for the Niners, as far as clearing his touchdown prop. And if they set it at 1.5 this year, he hit that in all 6 games he started during the regular season. Any game that he started and finished, he's actually cleared this in. So yeah, he's looked really sharp. He's got the weapons to do it this year for sure. So looking his way again during the regular season with the touchdown prop.
Yeah, I've got his game log right here. So he really gets, he starts against Miami, throws for 2 touchdowns. The touchdown prop, 1.5. Next game, Tampa Bay, props at 1.5. He throws for 2 touchdowns. Next game, Seattle, it's still at 1.5. He throws for 2 touchdowns. Washington, it's still at 1.5. He throws for 2 touchdowns. Vegas goes to overtime, props at 1.5. He throws for 2 touchdowns. Arizona, he throws for 3 touchdowns, and they're still leaving it at 1.5. And what I like about this last regular season, listen to these point totals. So 38 against Arizona, 37 against Vegas, 37 against Washington, 21 at Seattle, 35 against Tampa, 33 against Miami. These are really big numbers for an unknown quarterback. And now he gets a full training camp as a starter. He's going to start off the year healthy Debo, healthy Ayuk, healthy McCaffrey, healthy Kittle. I mean, I think we're praying that they throw out a 1.5 touchdowns, right?
100%. If it's at 1.5 and the juice is anything near reasonable, you have to look his way early and often during the regular season.
Yeah, so I don't know. The juice is kind of interesting because I feel like if it's over like minus 150, we can't make it a huge play, but we can certainly throw a unit on it. Maybe
Yeah,
2. So we'll see what the books give us on this one.
100%.
Tyler Higbee. You and I did not talk about Tyler Higbee, and this is interesting because I kind of like Tyler Higbee, and I actually drafted him in my fantasy football league.
Nice.
I waited on tight end, and I kind of like him with Matt Stafford. Obviously, Stafford's health is going to be the big one, but what do we like about Higbee? And you've got a season number that is begging to be bet on, right?
Yeah, his season receiving total is only 500 and a half receiving yards. Generally for the season long props, we're targeting unders, but we're also targeting low overs, manageable overs, not the super high numbers where you need every single thing to go right. I mean, he's cleared this number in each of his last 4 seasons. And you look at this year, he's going to be the number 2 option, behind Cooper Kupp. And if Kupp were to get injured, he'd be the number 1 option at that point. But I'd rather almost Kupp be healthy for this prop, honestly, because a little bit of a distraction so that Higbee can catch those secondary catches. What I really, really love about this play is this Rams defense. You touched on it.
They're terrible.
They got torched again. You touched on this last week, and they got torched again. So you just got to figure they're going to be slinging it to try to keep up. And 500 and a half over the course of an entire season isn't really too much to ask. I love the over on this prop.
I gotta tell you, man, this Rams defense may be like just the fade. They get Seattle, and I'm waiting for the first half team total because, man, 41. They gave up 41 to Denver. How do you give up 41 points in a preseason game?
To Denver, yeah, right. They've just been getting torched all preseason, and I don't think things are going to change during the regular season.
No, and Tyler Higbee flew over this total even last year with all the mess that was the Rams. He had over 100 targets, 72 catches. So I love this 500 yards play. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you that Higbee was a guy. At least in my fantasy draft, once all the best quarterbacks kind of started, or best tight ends started going off the board, I was looking. I was like, okay, these guys are all kind of the same, and I'm like, man, Higbee, when Stafford is there, he's not bad, and he's got some upside with these big games. I mean, if he breaks one long pass, if he breaks one long pass for like 40 or 50 yards, you're like a tenth of the way there.
Right? Yeah.
Prop.
Yeah, he seems to be like one of the kind of like the top of that second tier of tight. And he's not in the elite level, but as far as fantasy drafts, he is a great guy to pick up. I love him as the tight end in fantasy drafts.
Yeah, I mean, listen to these totals last year. This is how he started the year. So 39, 71, 61, 73, 46. Against Arizona, he had a 73-yard game. He had a 94-yard game late in the year with Baker. I mean, he's got some big game potential out of him, and I feel like everyone's kind of sleeping on him.
Yeah, if he puts up those kind of numbers, I mean, it's only going to take him, 10 or 12 games to get there. He should, if this is all about health with him, I feel like if he stays healthy, he's going to fly over this total.
So what are we looking for in week 1? Do you want receptions, or are we looking at yards? I guess, I mean, I don't know. What are they going to put his catches at? If it's 2.5, I'm looking it over for sure. Yards, what if it's under 30? I think we're probably firing away. Those are kind of the numbers that I'm thinking the books might put out.
Yeah, if those numbers are set there, I love both of those. I would lean towards the yardage, but I mean 2.5 receptions. If it's set at that number with reasonable juice, I would play that I would look that way as well.
Yeah, we're looking for these guys. Steve and me and Corbin did a pretty big deep dive on what plays worked for us last year. We were 21-9 and 5% plays, so we wanted to go back and find like what was working. And what was working was these guys, not the superstars. Trying to find these guys with low totals. I know we rode Devin Singletary on his reception yards when it was like below 20. In close games, that was a big one. But these guys like Tyler Higbee, at least in our opinion, that's where the real value is. I don't think the books are going to be really dialed in on their Tyler Higbee numbers. So that's kind of where we're looking at, right?
That's what I love about it, is that it's kind of like an under the radar over, as opposed to taking, a big name player like where we talk about where one injury and your over prop is dead.
Yeah. So, all right, Tyler Higbee. The Ravens. You wanted to touch on the Ravens. Is it gone? Is it just over? They broke the streak, so now they really have nothing to play for?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when they lose to Tampa Bay. You know, straight up, the preseason they went 0-3 ATS. You know, and 1-2 straight up. That they burnt us on that second game where they blew it right at the end where we pretty much had the game locked up. And that's the same thing I just wanted to bring up is that is the preseason run over for these guys? If they obviously it is over. So now is there are they? Can you even look their way again next season? I really don't think so with the streak being over.
Yeah, I mean, they were really playing for something, and then when the streak's over, it's like, well, now what? What? What are
Yeah,
we?
and then they come
What are
in
we
for the
killing ourselves for?
100%. Then they come in for the final and lay an egg against Tampa Bay. So I wouldn't be looking their way again next season. Next season, it's like with the streak being over. Unfortunately, unfortunately we got bit on that one in the second game.
Yeah, UFC Paris is going to be this weekend. Got to touch on a few things. So the video is up for where I break down all fights. That is on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. So go ahead and go over and check that out if you have not. Starts at noon, and there are some fights that we completely are just staying away from. But I already have the UFC best bet that is up right now. And I really encourage everyone to go get it now. It's $9 Monday, and that line is going to be moving. I already saw it move just this morning. So nothing too major, but it's on the move. So go grab it and lock it in. We'll definitely have at least one more play throughout the week with that. So last week was great in MMA 3-0. We hit Dana White Contender Series, we hit PFL, and we hit UFC. So what I wanted to talk about with this one is you're going to see some people that you've never seen before. But this fight is over in Paris, so they're giving some French fighters, and there's an Irish fighter on here. You're going to see some names and some people that you really are not familiar with. So just be careful when you're betting on these guys. If you haven't done your research, just lay off. There's a lot of fights I'm going to just not have any interest in whatsoever. There's a couple fights that they've completely priced us out. Perfect example would be the Farid Basharat versus Gladson Rodriguez. I like Basharat to win, but they have him at minus 310. That's insane. um, but it's a Basharat fight. If you don't know the Basharat brothers, they're really good fighters, but they don't knock anybody out. They don't submit. So if you do like Basharat, just wait and take him to win by decision or look at overs. So that's an example of a fight where, man, you're paying just a premium price. We do have a female fight, the Zara Fan dos Santos. I'm pretty sure UFC is really excited to get rid of her. She misses weight. She's a terrible fighter. She's 0-3. They tried to put one of the UFC's UFC loves this fighter, Steve, named Haley Cohen, except she's not very good. And so they backed themselves into a corner because she probably didn't deserve to get it signed to the UFC. They tried to give her a cupcake in her debut and she lost. So then they were like, we got to find a worse fighter. So then it's like, oh, Zara Farn. She's the worst fighter on the roster. And then Haley Cohen got hurt. So now I'm sure there was a line of women wanting to take this fight on short notice. Jacqueline Calvacani gets to step in, and my guess is she beats the brakes off of Zara Fan. So there's some really good prospects that I think UFC is gonna keep. Morgan Charrier is a really good prospect. I'm thinking he wins and probably sticks around in UFC. And then one of the big ones is Colin Loughran. He is undefeated 8-0. I'm excited to see him, and my guess is he runs through the guy that he's going to face. So it's a really good card. It's very bettable, but they're just going to be like the main event, Cyril Gahn and Sergey Spivak. No way. Not betting on that one. The co-main event, Manon Fiorot and Rose Namajunas. These are fights to stay away from. You do not have to bet on all of these fights. So UFC Paris should be profitable, but there's just a lot of fights that I think are going to trip people up, and I would completely stay away on those. And then quickly, the U.S. Open starts today on Monday, and the pack is up. It's only $29, guys. If you don't have the U.S. Open pack, go get it. Number one in tennis, like in all categories. We already have the plays that are up right now. Corbin has done a fantastic job over the years betting on tennis, and he's doing it again this year. So we've got 5 or 6 plays for today, and go get him because we always go hard and heavy to start these tournaments. So we're going to expect a lot of plays this week, and if we get off to a really good start and we're up big, we're probably not going to play very much as the tournament kind of dwindles down. So the U.S. Open, I think maybe, Steve, that's one of the reasons why I'm pretty excited about this week. It's the U.S. Open, tennis has been a great source of profit. So if you are not an all access client, just get the US Open, especially if you have the domestic books. All these plays are available on all the domestics. So go ahead and grab those. So. All right. All right. Plays that we have up. Speaking of which, we'll do this real quick. The US Open pack is up. UFC pack is up. There's one play that is in there, but there will be another one added later this week. And of course, MLB play of the day. We are still holding on to the number one winning percentage spot. We didn't have the best week in baseball, but we're still number one, and it's just been a really, really good month of baseball plays. So. All right, guys, we're going to do our bankroll reset day for the Road to Millions. If you are new, first off, thanks for joining. Please hit the like button. Helps the algorithm. You guys know that. So while you're watching this, just click on that like button. And if you are new to Road to Millions and have no idea what we're talking about, the Road to Millions is our program to help you increase your bankroll exponentially over a period of several years using the plays that we ourselves use for our own bankrolls. We use wagers and markets the books aren't 100% dialed in with. We take advantage of that. And we just look at our bankrolls like stock portfolios. We look at our wagers like investing in stocks with better returns. Stock market was down last week. We were down a little bit, but we're still absolutely smoking the returns on the stock market. So these plays, we all bet all of our own plays, and you should as well. So, all right, let us take a look here. And so we were talking last week about what happens when you're coming off of a really big week and a really good winning streak of units. And so we look at last week, 28.24 units, the week before that, plus 11 units, and the week of that, plus 1.5. Turning a profit 4 weeks in a row is pretty difficult. So we knew we were up against it, and we had a good start to the week, and then it just kind of fell apart on Saturday, and then we gave back a couple units on Sunday. So it was a little bit of a bummer because we didn't really have a chance to kind of like walk away with the profits like sometimes we normally do. So here's what we're going to do for this week. So last week, if you remember, our bankroll got up to 1,436. So one unit was $14.36. We were down 10.4 units, so we just multiply 10.4 times 14.36, and our bankroll comes to 1,287. So if you have your bankroll builder spreadsheet following along, make sure you fill in those numbers. If you have not downloaded the bankroll builder spreadsheet, there's a link in the comment section on the pinned comment. And if you have any questions, just go back to the video on June 26th, and it walks you through this. So we started with $1,000. We are still up 287. So overall, still doing really, really good with the returns. And when we look at the chart here, Steve, where we compare the Road to Millions to the Dow Jones, this blue line represents the Dow Jones. Went down, so it's up 3.6% this year, and we are up right here. Call it 80%. So we peaked earlier in the year. We got really, really close, and that line is the 100. We got to get over that freaking 100 units, man. It's a really nice goal, and we just couldn't quite get there.
We'll get there. We got some time.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. So, yeah, 78.84 is where we're at. Gave back some units this week, but we'll return. So, overall, still having a great year, and appreciate everybody joining us. So, somebody had asked, could you do a chart for every sport? I do have time. I don't know if I have that much time. So, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk through, we're going to recap our individual sports at the end of the week. So, Steve, let's go through here and let's start talking about what happened last week. And I will tell you why I'm excited about this week and the lessons we can learn. So, August 21st through the 27th, we had a winning record.
Yep, I know it.
17-14. We had a winning record. So soccer is one that I want to come back to because 7-2 at plus 1.5 units. We have got to make more money off of a 7-2 record than plus 1.5 units. So lacrosse was 1-1, no big deal there. MMA, that was a bright spot, 3-0. That was really good. The cross sport parlays was just drove me nuts, Steve, because the one that we gave out in the video hit, and I did not put it
I
in.
saw that.
So, and then we had another one at 2%. That one hit. And then the 5% play, the BC Lions, I do not know what they were doing. We had the BC Lions on the money line. All they had to do was win. They closed at minus 700. They're playing the worst team in the Canadian Football League, and they get their doors blown off. And that was the killer for this week. It came down to one play. So we're going to address that. Baseball, 4-7. I went back and looked. This was our first losing week in baseball in 5 weeks. So it was bound to happen. We had a great run in baseball, but that one was not very good. And then Formula One, freaking rain killed us, man. It rained to start the race, and one of our drivers that we bet on fell behind and just could not make it up. And that really, really hurt us bad, that freaking rain shower. So one of the bets that we lost was rain. We lost. Here's the big one right here at the bottom, Steve. 0-2 on 3%. We had a 3% play we lost and a 5% play lost. We lost the big ones. And that is how you turn a 17-14 record into a losing week. So baseball, 4-7, minus 8.1 units. I'm not really that disappointed or discouraged by it because we've been on such a hot run. We were due for a losing week, but I know it bothers you. So let's recap baseball a little bit.
I mean, coming into the weekend, we were right where we needed to be. You know what I mean? We were right, 500 kind of middling week, but if we have a winning weekend, we'd have a winning week in the MLB. It was just really frustrating. I was really frustrated this weekend, man, because
what was the series that we dialed?
So we had the Orioles, Baltimore Orioles, and we got against the Colorado Rockies on the run line. We got bit twice on the home team with the run line. They lose literally 5-4, the exact same score in both games. The second one was really frustrating, man, because they're up 5-2 going into the ninth inning, and they just blew it, man. And yesterday they couldn't even. This weekend is beyond frustrating for me, man. I've had it. I'm looking for, I've had it with the Orioles at least for this weekend. It was just they could never get the key hit when we needed them to. They're playing from behind against Colorado the whole weekend, it seemed like. And we gave back some units, unfortunately. And I'm liking where we are on the month, but I'm not liking where we finished the weekend.
Baseball, man. This baseball season is just a grind. And at the end of the season, you just hope you're up units. So
it's really frustrating, man, too, because I don't like letting people down with these plays either, and we were coming into it on such a tear, and it's just frustrating to lose them so close like that. And so to watch the team that you bet on win and celebrate a victory twice in a row, because they win both of these games 5-4, by the way, if I didn't mention that. And but not covering the run line when they had it 5-2 in that second game. And you look at it, you flip that one play over, we're 5-6, and it's a whole different story for the week. Just like the bigger plays, you flip that the BC Lions win, and you flip that
week.
winning week. Yeah, flip that 5% play, and it's a winning week. Yeah. so it's very frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah, so I talked to Corbin, and so the 7-2 with plus 1.5 units, we're going to make adjustments to the percentages. Corbin is seeing soccer so well right now, and the same game parlays, he's just crushing. So we need to make sure that these plays are kind of a little bit more towards this, similar percentages. And if you've seen the tennis plays that he's put out, that's kind of what we're doing. It's 3%, 2% plays. Lacrosse, whatever. Dan's having an incredible lacrosse season, 1-1, nothing to take away. I've been really, really happy with MMA recently. I talked about last week how proud I was of the Dana White Contender Series play. Could have been a loss. We were patient, found another play. PFL, that could have been a losing night. We just settled on one play. And then there were some fights that tripped people up for the UFC. We stuck to our one play, and bang, we end up with 3-0. One of them was plus money. So we walk away with 6.24 units. So really, really happy with that. And the cross-sport parlays, I mean, the reads were there. Like the reads were absolutely there. I forgot to put in the one that we did on our show, so that was my fault. And then the 5% play. I don't know how many times did the BC Lions win that game. 99 out of 100. I mean, they got
Yeah.
crushed by the worst team in the league. They got killed. So um, I was fine with our reads. I think we need to adjust our percentages just a little bit. So, and we listen, we know what the 5% plays are. I mean, you live and die by them sometimes. And we have a really good record of 5% plays. So when we have a week where we hit one, like when we cashed on the Women's World Cup, dude, that's a great week. If we lose one
Yeah.
though, it really stings. So I was fine with the play. I didn't find any faults. I didn't even find any fault with the handicapping, but it didn't go our way this week. So it's all right. We're still up. We're having a great year and feeling great about this year. So we're gonna uh try and get back on the winning path. And if you do have our tennis plays, just expect a lot of plays for the first part of the week. So um the U.S. Open is going to be a lot more volume than what we're normally used to. So if you have not done tennis before, just expect a lot of plays, and then it'll fall off pretty quick once we get to next week. So we're going to keep going on the path that we're going on because I'm happy with where we're at, and I think we're doing pretty good. So all right, you ready for streak of the day, Steve?
Yes,
we,
sir.
we, we talked about him. We talked about him. We talked about him. We didn't bet on him, and all he did was hit his prop every single day. Mookie Betts coming right back to him over 2.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. They bumped it up to 1.5, and it's plus 125. So let's talk about Mookie Betts. He's on fire.
Yeah, he like you said, he cleared it. He cleared this number in all 3 games in his return to Fenway Park this weekend. He went 7 for 15 over the course of the weekend with a home run. He's on a 15-game hit streak now,
Wow.
and he's cleared this number, this HRR number in all 15 of those games.
Oh my
So
God.
great matchup today for him against a good pitcher, but he's got a great track record against Gallen. He's 5 for 15 against him with a home run. There's not much not to like about this play. I mean, other than just that it being set at 2.5, but you do get plus money on it. That's the only thing. That's the only fault I can see in this play.
He's not gonna. He's not gonna keep. He's not gonna keep doing this, is he? He's Mookie Betts. I guess he can, but he's gonna have
Yeah, I
a
mean,
bad game. He's gonna have a bad game at some point.
it's just such a great spot, man, because they can't ever, pitch around him really with Freeman right behind him like that.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? Like Freeman, these are 2 of the, top 4, National League MVP candidates. It's amazing that the Dodgers have 2 of them and the Braves have 2 of them. It's Acuna and Olsen and Betts and Freeman, and with Freeman right behind Betts, it just gives them that protection where they can never walk him, and they can never intentionally walk him, and they can barely ever pitch around him. The Dodgers, we know, they come in hot to start the week too, so that's another plus in the category here, you would think.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So Mookie Betts is not going to be an official play, but we do have our official MLB play of the day that is up right now. And leave us a comment, guys. Let us know how your road to millions is going. Let us know what you think about Mookie Betts and what you like for this week. Just leave it in the comment section below. If you don't have the bankroll builder spreadsheet, just check the pinned comment in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. We got a busy, busy week with the U.S. Open. We're done with golf season for 2 weeks, and then we'll be back with golf and NFL. Man, it's go time. So I
Right
believe we
around the
have.
corner.
Yeah, I believe next week it's just like NFL through February.
Yeah,
So
it's that time of the year, man.
yeah. So good luck, everyone. We will see everyone next time on Road to Millions. Good luck on all your plays. Let's get back on the winning track. Good luck. We'll see you over next time.
Good luck, guys.